I've been building my own kingdom for everyone to see. It exists to keep me safe from harm, and it's intact to glorify me. Nobody helped me build this up. It was me and me alone. I've appointed myself as the king, and I've given myself the throne. But it turns out I'm no ruler, and I have no control. So I have decided to destroy it all. I'm tearing down the walls, kicking down the doors. Everything inside this kingdom is yours. 'Cause what I've made is worthless, and it cannot stand. Come and breathe some life into my empty, cold, dead ends. Down with the fickle king, away with this fantasy. You are the one I need. Death to the kingdom of me. Death to the kingdom of me. I should probably be frightened. This empire's all I know, but it always does more damage than good. I'm afraid it's gotta go. I know that I can't be trusted, 'cause I'm just a man. And if you hadn't given your life for me, a loser would be all that I am. You know they say just follow your heart. I'm afraid that's a load of trash. Your heart will take you down to deep, dark places where you feel like you'll never come back. So I'm coming out of the dark. This facade is I woke up feeling like it was time to tighten up. Yeah, I woke up feeling like it might be a good day to get it done. That's right. Oh, the stadium is just like my second house. Now I'm two-tone talking, they can't shut my mouth. I woke up feeling like it was time to tighten up. Yeah, 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 yeah. I woke up feeling like it was time to tighten up.
Oh yeah, TGIF everybody. It is February 20th, 2026. It's Two Tone Talk episode 218. I'm going to be honest with you, everybody. It's a pretty interesting time of year to be someone who makes content about the NFL in any capacity, because there are certain months of the year that are a little tougher than others because there's just not as much to talk about. February is one of those months, man. Next month it'll heat up. Free agency. Then, of course, in April, the draft and everything. And then as the summer hits, you've got OTAs and mini camp and things like that, and then training camp. But February is one of those months where it's just like, man, it's not that there's nothing to talk about. It's just that there's not as much to talk about. But that's fine. We're still here on Two Tone Talk episode 218. I hope you're having a good Friday out there. And today, much like we did last week, last Friday, we predicted the starting offense for the Tennessee Titans in 2026, which I think has already proven to be a bad prediction because Breece Hall looks like he might be getting franchise tag. Well, who knows? There's still a long way to go with that. But either way, you can go watch that episode now from last Friday where I predicted the starting offense for the Tennessee Titans. Today, we're looking at the defensive side of the ball, predicting the starting defense for the Tennessee Titans in 2026. Now, we all know this is a crapshoot. We all know that in February, this is complete taking shots in the dark, mostly. But this is, and I didn't even get it set up here, so bear with me. This is my prediction for the starting defense in 2026 based on just the feeling that I have in my heart of hearts. I know you got a black screen right now if you're watching on YouTube. There we go. Now, I of course, some of these, obviously we know who's going to be starting defensive tackle, at least one of the defensive tackle spots for the Titans. But I think this seems reasonable. This prediction that I've come up with seems reasonable. So this is what we're going to get into today. Don't forget to like if you're watching on YouTube. Let's get going. Starting 11, starting at defensive tackle, of course. Let's just get the obvious one out of the way with Jeffrey Simmons. This guy is not just the leader of the defense. He is the leader of the Tennessee Titans. I mean, Jeffrey Simmons, there's a reason why, they could have traded him by the trade deadline last year and gotten significant draft capital in return for him, but they think that highly of him. Mike Borgonzi thinks that highly of him. Jeff Simmons has become quite a spokesperson for the Tennessee Titans organization, and now I've said it before, I'll say it again, Robert Saleh and Jeff Simmons, I think that is a match made in football heaven. And so I'm so excited for Jeff after suffering through a rough couple of years, after having those heights. Remember, he got drafted in 2019. So the first season he was ever here, the Titans go to the AFC Championship game. The second season he's here, we win the AFC South, go to the playoffs. The third season he's here, we win the AFC South, we're the number one seed. He experienced great success in the NFL his first 3 seasons, and then, you're mid the next year, you're mid to bad the next year, and then the last 2 years you've been among the very worst teams in the league. I want this guy to be a part of winning football again. I want this guy to be a part of playoff football again, and I am so excited that he has been paired with Robert Saleh, and I'm so excited that the Titans decided to keep him. I'm so excited that the Titans didn't just, trade him for a second-round pick or whatever. I'm glad the Titans decided they're going to stick with Jeff, and I remember what Mike Borgonzi said about him. Jeff is going to be a big part of the reason why this thing turns around. I agree. The other defensive tackle slot, I'm still going to go with T'Vondre Sweat. I understand there are rumors out there that the Titans could trade T'Vondre Sweat because he's maybe not the best schematic fit for Robert Saleh's defense. I think they're going to stick with him. They could have traded T'Vondre Sweat by the trade deadline. They did not. Listen, they've hired Saleh now. If Saleh comes in and says this guy's not a fit, we need to look for a trade. Okay, but right now I just think I still think there's a lot to like about T'Vondre Sweat. And I'm not saying he's going to be an every down defensive tackle, but I think there's got to be a place that they can find for T'Vondre Sweat. I mean, he was a second-round pick just 2 years ago. I got to go with T'Vondre Sweat. I do think they will need to bolster up the depth on that defensive line, and I'll talk more about that here in a little bit. But I got T'Vondre Sweat back with Tennessee Titans, so I've got Simmons and Sweat. Edge rushers, I'm going Reuben Bain. I know there are a lot of possibilities about Arvell Reese or David Bailey and whatnot, but I'm going with Reuben Bain. He's the guy that intrigues me the most. He's the guy that gets me the most excited. The idea of him and Jeffrey Simmons next to each other, I just think this is where the Titans need to go if he's there with the 4th overall pick. I'm not going to pitch a fit if it's David Bailey. Arvell Reese is not going to fall to 4. Reuben Bain is the guy that intrigues me the most. And so I'm going with Reuben Bain as one of our defensive end edge rusher guys. I really like, he's of all of those guys they could take it for, he's the one that gets me the most excited. So I'm going to take Reuben Bain with the 4th overall pick in the draft, and I'm going to take Reuben Bain. That just sounds like the name of a defensive end who's going to cause havoc. Reuben Bain. At the other defensive end position, I'm going with Odafe Owe. Spent some time with the Ravens. Most recently had a breakout season with the Chargers. I think the Titans will have to go, and sign as good of a free agent at that position as they can, even if they do draft a Reuben Bain at number 4. The Titans need a lot of help. I know there are a lot of people who wonder, like, would the Titans try to go after a guy like Trey Hendrickson? We've heard some of those, like, tippy-top names be mentioned as possibilities for the Titans, and I know Odafe Owe, certainly a good name at edge rush, maybe not a name that you're sitting there thinking, wow, that would just be the best of the best. But the reason that I think the Titans may be content to not go after a Trey Hendrickson or somebody like that is because of this guy, Femi Oladejo. I know he got hurt. We really kind of forgot about him because he got hurt in week 6 and he never came back. But, like, this guy was a 2nd-round pick in 2026, and he was playing, in 2025, and he was playing better before he got hurt. So I do think Femi Oladejo is going to be a big part of their plans. I know you can't just rely on him completely because he was hurt and you didn't see a whole lot of him in the grand scheme of things. I don't know if they've got him planned on being a starter, but I do think because he was just a 2nd-round pick last year, they're probably going to plan on him being a pretty significant part of their defensive plans. So if you draft a Reuben Bain at number 4 and then you bring in a guy like Odafe Owe, and then you've got Femi there, and if he continues to progress and get better and come back better after his injury, that could be a good 3-headed monster. And then I've got some other ideas of how you can round out that edge rush room with some familiar names, which we will get to shortly. Let's get to the inside linebackers. Up first, the obvious one, Cedric Gray. This is a player that everybody should be excited about. Cedric Gray was really good last year. I think under Robert Saleh, he's going to be even better, one of the leading tacklers in the NFL. Cedric Gray, one of the few guys on the 2025 Tennessee Titans to be legitimately excited about. And I'm a big fan of Cedric Gray. I'm so excited that he came in and played as well as he did this year in spite of being on such a bad team, and I am so excited about the future for Cedric Gray at that linebacker position. At the other linebacker position, I do not think Cody Barton's going to be back on this team. I don't think he played well enough. I don't think he fits Robert Saleh's defensive scheme. I think there are other guys out there that would fit that scheme better, such as this guy. I'm going to go with Quincy Williams. At linebacker for the Titans as well. I think that this is a guy that has experience with Robert Saleh. This is a guy that played his best football with the Jets, and he came in when Robert Saleh was the coach. A lot of people just putting 2 and 2 together. Robert Saleh coach, he's going to go after players that he knows can play well, that have played well for him before, and Quincy Williams would be one of those players. I don't think the Titans are going to want to spend too much money on free agency at the inside linebacker position. And no, I don't think Will Compton is going to be available. Year 11, though? I mean, maybe. Corner, major position of need. We'll start with Marcus Harris. I mean, I thought Marcus Harris played extremely well for the Titans to be a 6th-round rookie. I thought he played well at that slot corner position. Slot corner, not as hard to find as outside corners. Marcus Harris, I think he's probably going to get first dibs on that starting slot corner position. He did get hurt toward the end of the season, but I think Marcus Harris played some good football. I think he proved to be a good late round find last year by Mike Borgonzi, and like I said, I think he'll get first dibs on that slot corner position. It makes me a little nervous that you're going with a 6th rounder for last year, but you know what? You could. Like I said, slot corners are not too hard to find. I'm not saying they're easy to find, but they're not as hard to find as outside corners. They could hit up free agency and get a solid backup slot corner just in case things go south with Marcus Harris, but I do think he'll get first dibs. At one of those outside corner slots, I've got Alontae Taylor. was with the Saints last year. Good veteran corner, scrappy, really nice. We saw him against the Titans, played very well against the Titans. Cam also had a couple of nice throws against him. I think Alontae Taylor would be a great fit for Tennessee at one of those corner positions. They're going to have to get at least one big-name corner in free agency. So I think Alontae Taylor, and then you probably sign another one too that's kind of a depth guy underneath. And then at the other corner slot, you could go with anybody, but I'm going with Julian Neal from Arkansas. I'm going to say they could draft him in the third round of the draft. It would make me nervous to have a third-round pick and a sixth-round pick from the last 2 years starting corner for you. So that's why, maybe more than just Alontae Taylor, maybe need to sign a couple corners, veteran corners that you can rely on there. But Julian Neal would make a lot of sense for Robert Saleh's defense. He's physical, plays good man-to-man coverage, so I think that would make a lot of sense for the Titans in the third round. One thing I do want to say before I finish it off with these safeties, I did a video about the Tua trade conspiracy, about the idea of the Titans trading for Tua Tagovailoa, and I see some of you guys mentioning Devin Lloyd. I just think that's going to be too expensive. Zaire Franklin, that would be interesting. The Tua conspiracy theory about the Titans trading for Tua, taking on his cap hit in order to get a significant draft pick from the Dolphins. And I know a lot of people are like vehemently against it and they think it's ridiculous. And maybe it is, and I don't think the Titans will do it. But I'm just going to say, if the Titans did that, if the Titans traded for Tua and got the Dolphins' second-round pick in the process, I think the Dolphins have the 42nd pick in the draft, which would be the Titans have 35, then the Dolphins are at 42. So you would have 2 second-round picks pretty close together. I'm just saying, if you had that, and let's say you take Reuben Bain, with the first pick, the 4th overall pick, you could draft a wide receiver and a corner like right there together in the second round, and then in the third round, that opens you up to, who knows, maybe draft a running back, maybe draft an offensive tackle, maybe draft another position of need, or maybe double up, draft another edge rusher, draft another wide receiver, draft another corner. I'm just saying, don't tell me that doesn't intrigue you. And honestly, if you're the Titans and you went into the draft and you've got 2 second-round picks and a third-round pick, and it's a deep draft at these premier positions, does that open you up to take a guy like Jeremiah Love with the 4th overall pick? I don't know if that's what they should do, but I'm just saying, in the event that you've got 2 second-round picks, maybe that opens you up to maybe say, okay, well, let's just take a guy at running back, and then we know we've got 2 second-round picks. We could take edge rush and wide receiver in the second round and then take our corner in the third. You know what I'm saying. It would really create a lot of possibility for the Titans. But I understand that's a long shot and it's probably not going to happen. Anyway, 2 starting safeties. I am going to go with Amani Hooker. I did a video on my Patreon yesterday on the bonus episode talking about players that could benefit the most from a fresh start with a new coaching staff, and I listed Amani Hooker as one of those players. Him and Jeff are the 2 players on this team that experienced the heights that the Titans reached under Vrabel, and they have now experienced the extreme lows that the Titans have experienced since then. Amani Hooker has not been playing his best football as of late. I think this is a guy who could really benefit from a change of coach and a change of staff. I do think Amani Hooker will be one of your starting safeties on this team, and I hope he can get back to playing good football. And then, of course, the other starting safety, one of the players I'm most excited about on this defense, is Kevin Winston Jr. Got hurt at the end of the season, but I think Kevin Winston was playing tremendous, getting better every week. A player to really be excited about on this defense, especially under Robert Saleh. Now, as far as depth pieces, we got a lot of time to talk about free agency and draft and stuff like that, but these are some players that I would actually like to see the Titans bring back on defense to kind of round out depth-wise. The first one is Jihad Ward. Jihad Ward really was a pleasant surprise for the Titans last year, played some pretty good football. He is not a starter. He is not a starting level player, but if you had Jihad Ward as a rotational guy at edge rush, you could do a lot worse. I mean, he played some good football for the Titans. He could do some good things for you. And also Jalen Harrell, who was drafted by the Titans a few years ago. I think Rand Carthon drafted him. He played some pretty good football when he got in there, so he might be a good rotational player at edge rush as well. Again, these guys are not starting level players. They had to be last year because things got so bad. But as rotational guys, you could do a lot worse than Jihad Ward and Jalen Harrell. So if you had an edge rush room of, like I said, Ruben Bain, Odafe Owe, Femi Oladejo, and then you round it out with Jahad Ward and Jalen Harrell. That's an improvement. That's a significant improvement from last year. As far as other guys I'd like to see the Titans bring back, of course, I've got our buddy Sebastian Joseph Day. Sebastian Joseph Day has been a good rotational player for the Titans, and so I think the Titans, they're going to need, if they do bring back T'Vondre Sweat, they're going to need some other defensive tackles that are quicker, that are faster. T'Vondre Sweat, of course, serves more as a run stopper than anything. So if you're going to bring back Sweat, you're going to need some depth at defensive tackle that's quicker, faster, bring something that Sweat doesn't bring. And then last but not least at corner, I think they need to bring back Darrell Baker. Again, Darrell Baker is not a starting level player, but he's a good rotational player. He would be a good corner to have, just for a play here and a play there. You could do a lot worse. You could do a lot worse than Darrell Baker. He's not a starting level player, but he is a good rotational player, and that's my predictions for the starting defense for the Titans in 2026. Quick programming note, next week we'll be going back to one episode a week, at least until free agency, and so I will see you on Monday for the only Two-Tone Talk episode of the week next week. Appreciate everybody joining me. Have a good weekend. God bless you. Tighten up. Bye.